Okay, here we go. All right, I'd like to ask everyone to mute unless you want to speak. I'd like to mute everybody for that matter right now. Let's see, do that. All right, I just muted everybody. Okay, so if from this point on, I muted everybody. If you want to talk, you'll have to unmute because we're getting some feedback. So we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to know what's going on this year. All right, there's a lot going on in Parshas Miketz, as we know. The main thing about Parshas Miketz, Rabbi Say, is the fact that we're dealing with dreams. We've been dealing with dreams for a while now. In Parshas Vayishlach, in Parshas Vayetze, we learned that Yaakov had a dream and he saw the ladder, the sulam. The sulam was on the ground, V'rosho Magia Hashemayma. I'm sure you remember that. We had occasion at that time to mention that the sulam, interesting, sulam is a ladder. But I don't know about you, but I remember when we were younger and we had 8th grade graduation. So they gave out, everybody had these little autograph books, and you went around to all the kids in the class and they would sign their name to the order. Oh, before we go any further, I want to dedicate the Shiur today for Refuah Shlema from Menachem Mordechai ben Ophira. Should have a Refuah Shlema. They all say Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And anybody?
Amen.
Yeah, Amen. Now you can mute yourself again. I do want to point out that the sulam, so what happened? We used to get these little autograph books, and everybody would write something, in the autograph. Some of them were very silly, like roses are red, violets are blue, but who cares? Something like that. Or they make something up and they say, yep, that doesn't rhyme. So, but sometimes people would write, climb the ladder of success, and they would show a ladder, and on the rungs they would write S-U-C, success. Very nice. But Yaakov had a dream of a ladder, and it's spelled Samach Vav Lamed Mem. Okay. Now you've heard me talk about this in the past, perhaps if you were in shul. So on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur when we daven, so we say in the Unasana Tokef the famous line Utshuva Utfila Utzdaka Ma'avirin Esroa Hagazera, that Tshuva, Tefillah, and Tzedakah get rid of the evil decree, right? So you all know that in the Machzor, if you'll take a look at the words Tshuva, Tefillah, and Tzedakah, on top of Tshuva, it says 3 little letters. You remember what it says? It says Som, Tzadik Vav Mem, fasting, right? On top of Tefillah, the next word, Tshuva is Som. On top of Tefillah, it's another word. It says Kol, Kuf Vav Lamed. And on top of Tzedakah, it says another few letters, and it says Mamon, which is money. Interesting. If you add the word Som, Tzadik, Vav, and Mem together, you get 136. If you add the word Kol, Kuf, Vav, Lamed, you're going to get 136. If you add up the word Mamon, Mem, Mem, Vav, Nun, you're going to get 136. And Sulam is 136. So basically, you'd say climbing the ladder of success, of course, means when we have Tshuva and Tefillah and Tzedakah. Why do I bring this up here? I'll tell you why. Because an amazing thing happens in Parshas Miketz. There's an amazing thing over here, okay? Whereby the I wrote this down over here. So Tshuva, Tefillah, and Tzedakah, if you add them all up, is equal to 408, right? There's 136 times 3, is equal to 408, right? And the 408 is corresponding to an interesting word. You know, when the Kohen would come into the Kodesh Kodashim, and we read on Yom Kippur in Acharei Mos, it says, "Bezos Yavo Aaron El HaKodesh." With this, Aaron the Kohen should come into the Holy of Holies. Now, the word bezos means with this, right? When was that? That was in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. What does he come in with? He comes in with chatas, he comes in with his korban and so on. But if you take a look at the word bezos and you add up the letters of the word bezos, right? With zos, Zion is 7, 1, Aleph is 1, and Tuf is 400. So you have 408. Zos. Bezos. With 408, Aaron is going to come into to light the menorah, because the menorah is lit in the Beis Hamikdash in the time of the first Beis Hamikdash, when Aaron came in. From the time of Aaron, all the Kohanim, straight through, used to come in and light the menorah. That's Zos. And 408 is the 3 words of Sulam that goes back to Yaakov Avinu. See, there's a dream at the very beginning. I better have some people waiting. Let me get them in. Okay. All right, they're all in. Okay. So Zos is the 408. In the 408, in the 400, with the 408, with Tzom, with Kol and Mammon, 136 times 3, 408. With that, you can come in to the Kodesh Kodashim. When we speak about the dreams, it starts with Yaakov's dream of climbing the ladder of success. The 3 things that it represents is Tzom, Kol, and Mammon. And in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, when the menorah was lit, it was lit bizos with the 408. The 408 meaning those 3 things. Okay, so now we have that dream. We have the dream of Yaakov over there. That's in Parshas Vayetze. In Vayishlach, Yaakov is fighting with the Malach, right? Was that a dream? Possibly. Vayeshev, no question. Dreams. Yosef having dreams. Anachnu ma'al mimalumim. We were bundling bundles and so on and so forth, right? And of course, in Miketz, you have Paros having dreams. Vayhi Miketz Masayim Yomim uParo Cholem, and Paros having dreams. Dreams are playing a tremendous role in all the sedges from Vayetze on, and especially in Parshas Miketz, especially in Miketz, because at the end of Vayeshev and Miketz, you have the Sarah Mashkim and the Sarah Ofen having dreams. Then you have Paro having dreams. Unbelievable. It's all with dreams. Have you ever wondered, what's this business with dreams? What do dreams mean? Well, what effect do dreams have on us? So what we're going to do is, we're going to spend a few moments talking about dreams in general, and what they mean for a Jew, what they mean for the Jewish people, and how do we deal with them? What are they? Now, there's no question that it's a psychological phenomenon. Many times we dream about things that are on our minds. Sometimes we remember them, sometimes we don't. Usually, we don't remember any of the dreams we have. According to scientists, a human being dreams at least once every 70 minutes. You have at least a REM, what's called rapid eye movement period, at least once an hour or so. If you didn't, you wouldn't be able to sleep. They made experiments. I remember when I was in the university, we had a course in comparative psychology, and one of the things that we learned was that if they took a bunch of convicts, and they told them that they would pay them to go into an experiment. It wouldn't cause them any physical damage, and if they would go into the experiment, they'd get time off for good behavior. And the experiment was only a dream experiment. That's all it was. They were going to measure their rapid eye movement during sleep. That's what they were going to do. They were going to measure the times they dreamed, because when a person dreams, there's a lot of eye movement. It's called rapid eye movement, REM sleep. And they would measure when they were sleeping without dreaming and when they were not sleeping. And there were calm periods. The graph would go gentle when they weren't dreaming. And when they were dreaming, it would go wild, like rapid eye movement. Okay, so they gave a control group. They woke up a control group every time they went into the nice, good sleep mode. Every time they would go into the pleasant sleep mode, they would wake them up and keep them up for about 40 minutes or so. They didn't let them sleep, so that they lost this very pleasant movement of sleep. And they did this every single night for a week, waking them up. They paid them for it. They're waking them up like this, like this, like this. And they only allowed them to sleep for 10, 15, 20 minutes an hour. And in those 10, 15, 20 minutes, they had this rapid eye movement. They had the dreams. Okay. The other group, they let them sleep, come out the whole night. The only time they woke them up is when they had rapid eye movement, when they went into a dream cycle. And that was only for 10, 15 minutes. So one group slept 40 to 45 minutes an hour. The other group only slept 15 minutes an hour. At the end of the week, they asked the groups, which of you we'd like to do another week of this? Which of you would like to continue with the experiment? An amazing thing happened. The ones who slept 45 minutes at a time, but were woken up every time they started going into the rapid eye movement and weren't allowed to dream, they did not want to continue the experiment. We can't, it's too exhausting, it's terrible. You're waking us up every 45 minutes, we can't go through it. The other group, which was allowed to have the dream sequences, that group said, yeah, we're tired, but okay, we'll go on. Why? The scientists discovered that the REM sleep, the dream sleep, allowed them to feel good about themselves. Usually when we say in the middle of a day, a person gets tired, he grabbed a little dream, that's exactly what it was. That little dream movement, it relaxes you and it allows you to go and face the day. So we see that dreams are crucial for our physical well-being, and we need those dreams. But the question is, what do they mean? Let's try to get a share here started, and we'll see if we can't figure out something about dreams. So we're going to go right now to a share, and we're going to see if we can't get everything we need to know right now from the share. We're going to go, well, before we go to the Gemara and Brachas, actually, I'm going to go to another place. We'll come back to this one, Miketz Hashem. We'll come back to this in due time. Right now, we're gonna go to another one. Let's see if we can get this one here. All right. Okay. I'm gonna have to make this a little smaller so you can all see it. Here it is. Okay. Now, this is the Medrash Rabbah. We're in the Medrash Rabbah in Perik Peites. You see it all here, right? You all see this, right? Raise your hand if you see it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Rabbi. Yes.
So this is a medrash. There's a medrash here, a fascinating medrash. Some of you won't like it. Some of you will. I don't know. But it is a medrash, and it says a lot. Here's the story. We know that in this week's Sedger, it says that the Sarah Mashkim and the Sar Ha'ofim in last week's Sedger told the Yosef the dreams, and the pasuk says, "Vanasaper lo," and we told the dreams to him, "Vayiftar lonu," and he was poser the dream. He interpreted the dream for us. That's what Vayiftar lonu means. He interpreted the dream for us. Says the Medrash, listen to the story. Here's the story. Kain Hava Uvda, you all see it, right? Following along here. Kain Hava Uvda, there was an occurrence, Bahahi Intasa, with a lady, the Osis Legabe Reb Elazar. She came to the famous Tana Reb Elazar. Amarit Lay, she said to Reb Elazar, Chamis b'chalomi, I saw in my dream, sherisa de besi tivra, that the beam, a sheris is a beam, that the beam of my house was broken. I had a dream in my dream that the beam of the house was broken. Amar lo, so Rebbe Loza said to her, At yeladet bar, you're going to have a son. The bar, at yeladet bar dechar, you're going to have a male child. Who chayai, and he's going to live. You had a dream about a beam that broke. I want you to know that that dream means you're going to have a son who's going to live. The Mefarshim on the Medrash explain that's because when a boy is born, there's a certain bone in the transition that breaks, and it means it's a boy, whatever that means. People say if you have this kind of pain, it's a boy. If you have that kind of pain, it's a girl. The Medrash says there was a beam that broke, and the beam that broke is a reference to a boy. And so Rebbe Loza told her she's going to have a son, and the son's going to be a boy, and he's going to live. Don't think he's not going to live, because sometimes you hear something broke, it means he's not going to live. Don't think that way. I want you to know he's going to live. Okay. Ozlat, she went, Vahavalo came, and that's exactly what happened. She had a child who was a son who lived. Osis Zman Ocharon, she came another time. I guess after she had a child, maybe a few years later, or a year later, we don't know. She came another time, Limish Aline, to ask Rebbe Lozer again about a dream. And she said to him, anyway, and what happened was, Ashkechei, she saw Talmidei, she saw his Talmidim, Yasvun Tamon, that they were sitting over there, Verabhon lo Havagabehan, but their Rebbe was not there. The Talmidim were there, but the Rebbe was not there. And she said to the Talmidim, V'anhu Rabchon, where is your Rebbe? Amrullah, they said to her, you know what? Emar lon ma da'at boyis, tell us what you want. V'anan as amrin lech, and we'll tell you what the story is. Tell it to us, we'll tell you what the story is. Okay. Should they have done that? What do you think? Should they have done that? You tell us, we'll tell you. You know, my Rebbe's not here now, just tell us, we'll take care of it. Should they have done that? Think about it. Okay, you don't have to answer. Ora lahon, so she said to them, Chamis b'chalomi, again, the same thing. I saw in my dream, Sherisa de Besi Tavida. I saw that the beam of my house broke. Again, same dream. I saw the beam of my house broke. Okay. Amrullah, they said to her, Hahi itza kavra bala. Wow. You hear what they told her? You, this woman, you're going to bury your husband. That's what they told her. The opposite of what the Rebbe said, who said you're going to have a male child who's going to live. They told her, you're going to bury your husband. Whoa. Even the nafkis min gabhon, when she went out of the base medrash, right? Shadia, miyalala, she started miyalel, she started wailing, screaming her head off. She started crying her head off. Shama kala Rebbe Lozer. So the Rebbe heard her voice. Amar lahon, he said to the students, Ma amartun la'ada itza, what do you tell this woman? That she's crying her head off. Right? Amrin, they said, it was the same woman who came to ask you, and so we told her what we interpreted the dream. We interpreted the dream. So what did you interpret the dream for her? Amrulay, they said to him, Kedenu Kedain. We told her like this and like this. In other words, they repeated that. We told her the husband's going to die. Look at what happens now. Amar lahon, Rebbe Lezer said to the students, Ovadatun gavra, You just killed this guy. You killed him. Lo kain ksiv, doesn't it say in Parshas Miketz and in Parshas Vayeshev, both places it says, Vayehi kasher pasalonu kain haya. It's really the end of last week's Seder, but we find by Paro, it's also the same thing. The way he interpreted, that's the key words here. You got to get these words. Vayehi kasher pasalonu kain haya. The way he interpreted, that's the way it was. Vayehi kasher pasalonu kain haya. The way he interpreted for us, that's exactly what happened. What is this telling us? Says the Gemara, that says the Medrash, V'lo kain amar Rebbe Yochanan, and did not Rebbe Yochanan say, and these are the 4 words that are crucial here. Okay? These 4 words, I'll try to highlight just these 4 words. Hakol holech achar hapisron. I want you to remember these 4 words. You have to remember these 4 words. They're crucial. Hakol holech achar hapisron. Everything goes by the interpretation. Everything goes by the interpretation. Yosef interpreted the dream that the Sar Amashkin was going to be returned to his place, and exactly that happened. Unfortunately, the baker did not have the same Hisron. Why? So that goes back to the fact that when they dreamt, the baker and the butler, they not only dreamt their own dream, but they also dreamt the interpretation of the other person's dream. So the butler dreamt the interpretation of the baker's dream. The baker dreamt not only his dream, but the interpretation of the butler's dream. If you take a look at last week's Sedra, you'll see Vayar sar ha'ofim ki tov basar. You'll see that it says that the baker saw that the dream was properly interpreted because the butler was afraid to tell over the dream because he had the interpretation of the baker's dream. He didn't want to tell it. And Yosef had to cajole him into telling him what was bothering him. He was the one, Vatipa Emrucho, because he didn't want to tell the dream because he dreamt the baker's interpretation, which was negative because the baker was hung. But the butler told him the dream. And Yosef interpreted the dream that he was going to live. When the baker saw, oh, this guy knows his stuff, because that's what he interpreted for the butler. And he figured to himself, my dream must be the same. But it wasn't. And that's why the butler didn't want to tell over the dream, because he thought it was negative. But here, Hakol holech achar hapison. Everything goes by the interpretation. Okay? All right. There's another line here that has to do with wine. I'm not going to go into that. But in the meantime, Hakol holech achar hapison. I want to tell you something. When I was a little kid, I was a young kid, so my grandmother, she rest in peace, lived in our house. I woke up one day, I was really out of sorts. I must have been about 10, 11 years old. I don't remember. I was a young boy, and I was really, really out of sorts. Really. So my grandmother, who lived in our apartment, with my mother's mother, lived in our apartment, and she's, in Yiddish, she spoke to me, what is, in Yiddish, what's going on? Why are you so upset? I said, no, I had a dream. I broke my arm. I had a dream. I broke my arm. She says, oh, that means you're going to be very strong. What, did she learn this Medrash? Did she learn the Gemara? That Hakol Olech Achar HaPisron? Everything goes by the interpretation? I don't know. But she knew something. She knew that Hakol Olech Achar HaPisron. And it's not only over here. It's not only over here, but if you'll go in the exact same area over here, we can go now. Go back to this. Let me enlarge this for a second. I'm gonna get the next. Whoops. I'm gonna get the next one. I'm gonna make this one a little smaller, and we'll go get the other one. Okay, now you'll take a look at the Gemara over here. It's the same one. Sorry, wrong one. Let me go back. You should take a look at the Gemara. You have a Gemara here. Let's see. I think we got it right here. Oops. Yep, here's the Gemara. Take a look at the Gemara here. Amazing, amazing thing. Take a look. There's the Gemara in Brachas, Taf Nun Hey, Amid Beis. And by the way, this Gemara in Brachas is not only on Nun Hey Amid Beis, it's also on Nun Vav and Nun Zayin. But here's the statement that is made, right? Okay. Well, here it goes. Here it says. First, we'll start with Rabbi Yochanan. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Hishkim v'nafal pasuk l'tol piv. If a person gets up in the morning and all of a sudden a pasuk comes to his mouth, harezu nevuah katana. That's a nevuah. All right. B'amar Rabbi Yochanan gimel chalomos miskaimin. There are 3 dreams that have validity. Chalom shel shacharis, v'chalom shel chalom lo chaveiro, v'chalom shel niftar b'toch chalom. And a dream in a dream. V'yesh omim af chalom shel nishneh. Also a dream that repeats itself. Shenemar. And he quotes the pasuk in this week's Edger, in Miketz. Va'al hishanos hachalom. Because Paro had the dream twice, therefore it's about to come true. Omar Reb Shmuel ban Achmeni, Omar Rabbi Yonasan. Right? Reb Shmuel ban Achmeni comes along and he says in the name of Rabbi Yonasan. Before we do this, let's go back a few lines. Back, I'm sorry, I wanted to say this. It says here, okay, I meant to go a little bit back, okay? Says the Gemara here, says the Gemara, Rabbi Bano, there was a, Rabbi Birayim Mishum Zokei Nechad Umanu Rabbi Bano. Rabbi Birayim said in the name of Rabbi Bano, Esrim va'arba posei chalomos hoyu b'Yerushalayim. In Jerusalem, there were 24 people who knew how to interpret dreams. Watch this. Pam achas cholamti chalom. I had a dream. V'alachti etzel kulam. I went to all of them. Umasha pasali zeh lo pasali zeh. What one interpreted was not the same as the other one. The kulam niskaimu bi. And every one of those interpretations happened to me. Right? Lekayem hashanemar, to fulfill that which it says. And here it is again. We're going to look at this again. Kol achalomos holchim achar ha-peh. All dreams go by after what you say. All dreams. You interpret it positive, it's going to be positive. You interpret it negative, it's going to be negative. What is the Gemara telling us here? Kol achalomos holchim achar ha-peh. Everything goes after the mouth. Meaning, think positive, interpret positive. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you interpret positive, it's positive. What's that famous Yiddish expression? As me tracht gut is good. If you think positive, it is positive. As long as you're thinking positive, it turns out positive. That's the Gemara. And by the way, the Gemara in Brachas spends about 2 block Gemara, long block Gemara, from Nun Hey to Nun Ches, 2 or 3 block Gemara, talking about interpretations. And there was this one fella, there was this one interpreter, Bar Hedjid, who was a mean cuss. He was a very mean person. And the Gemara relates how Abaya and Rava would ask him his interpretations of dreams. And to Abaya, he was always positive, and to Rava, he was always negative. And ultimately, he was found out to be a fraud, and he met, as they say in Yiddish, Amiyas and Soif. He had a terrible end. The point is, what the Gemara says over here, Akol holech, kol achalomos hochal achar peh, all dreams go by what you say. That's an important point to keep in mind. All dreams go by what you say. We're gonna go now a little bit back. We're gonna come back to this maybe if we can. Right now, we're gonna go to something else. I want to show you I want to show you something in the Shulchan Aruch right now. Amazing in the Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim, in Siman Kuf Lamed. We're going to try to, let me move this over so I can get Kuf. I'm trying to get, here's what I want. So, Kuf Lamed. You want to get down to Kuf Lamed. I want to show you something that we're familiar with, by the way. We're familiar with this. It happens to show up in our lives a couple of times a year here in Chutz La'aretz, much more often, of course, in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, and here it is, Siman Kuf Lamed. Okay, we'll take a look. It's a short siman. Okay, here it is. Look what the heading is. Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, Siman Kuf Lamed. The Ribono Shel Olam she'omrim b'shas nesiyas kapayim. The Ribono Shel Olam that we say at the time when the Kohanim duchen. Says the Mechaber, Man dechaza halma, someone who sees a dream. V'lo yoda mai chaza, and he doesn't know what he saw. Nekayem kamei kahani, let him stand before the Kohanim, b'shor sha'olin leduchan, when they go up on the platform to do the duchening. Duchen means a platform. The Emohachi, and say the following when they're doing Berchas Kahanim. Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the universe. Ani Shelcha, v'chalomos I Shelcha. I am yours, and my dreams are yours. Chalom chalamti ve'eni yodei mahi. Right? That whole Ribono Shel Olam. Bein shechalamti alachem beim shechomu achem alai. Right? Take them and heal them and make them good. Always, always for the positive, because that's what you're supposed to do. We're going to go also to Siman, I believe it's Reish Ches, not mistaken. Let's take a look at Siman Reish Chav. Whoops. Let's go to Siman Reish Chav. Move this down a little bit. Siman Reish Chav. There's Reish Tes. We want to get up to Siman Reish Chav. And we're going to see in Siman Reish Chav another statement also about dreams, which is brought up right here. Okay, here comes Reish Chav. Reish Zayin, here we go. Reish Ches. Coming to Reish Tes. Reish Chav, here it comes. Okay, Reish Chav. Okay, watch this. Siman Reish Chav, it's called, again in Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, Hatovas Chalom v'Ta'aniso. The making good of a dream. And any fast you might want to do because of a dream. By the way, we do not do Hatovas, we do not do Tainis Chalom today, except in extremely rare circumstances, and no one should take it upon themselves to paskin whether you should or should not fast Tainis Chalom. We do not fast Tainis Chalom. Instead, we give tzedakah. But look what it says here. Horoeh chalom. Let's say somebody sees a dream. The nafsho aguma olav, and the person is very upset over it. Yativenu ba'ape tlosa derachamulei. Let him go to 3 people who love him or her. The lema ba'apayu, and say to them, Chalma tova chazoi. I saw a good dream. This guy's all upset over the dream because it's such a lousy dream. And he comes to these 3 people and he has to tell them, I saw a good dream. Why does the halacha say that you have to say you had a good dream? Didn't we just learn hakol holechachara pisron? You always go after the interpretation. So if you say it's a good dream, as metrach gut v'zayin gut. That's what it is, right? The lemru inhu, and what do they say? Here it is. The lemru inhu, this halacha l'maisa. What should they say? Tavahu v'tava leheve. It is good. It should be good. That's the halacha. That's the halacha of dreams. You have a dream, you got to go tell it and say it's good. Because as long as you say it's good, it's going to be good. If you say it's good, it's going to be good. Okay. All right, Rabbi Say, that's our dream sequence for today. Let's get back to the Parsha itself. Here we go. Okay. By the way, if there are any questions on this right now, I'll entertain it if you have any questions on this right now. But if you don't, we're going to go right to the Parsha. Okay. Let's go to the Parsha. There are a lot of things going on over here that that need a lot of explanation. But I want to go to some inside stuff over here, all right, and analyze some of the things that that are taking place with Yosef himself. So Yosef interprets the dreams. Let's go to Shlishi right here. You see Shlishi right here. Yosef interprets the dream, right? And Paro says, there's no one like you who's got the spirit of God in him. That's the previous pasuk. Animtza kozeh ish asher ruach Elokim. No one has. It's unbelievable. Even Paro noticed there's something special about Yosef at this point. So Paro says to Yosef, Acharei hodia Elokim uschos kol zos, ein novan v'chacham kamoch. There's no one as bright as you. So you're going to be over my house. No one's going to be able to move without you. Only with the seat of the throne, I'll be higher than you. And Paro said, look, I'm sending you out over Egypt. Pasuk Mem Beis, Vayosar Paro's tabato me'al yodo. Paro takes the ring off his finger. If you remember anyone else in the history of the Jewish people where we see these words, and he took the ring off his finger, right? By Achashverosh, he gave it to Haman. But here, Paro is giving the ring to Yosef, and he gives it to the Yad Yosef, and he dressed him up in Big Day Sheish, put him on fine linen clothing. Yosef Nevidazov, put a golden necklace around his neck, and he made him ride in the chariot, and he called him Avrech. Vayikra lefanov Avrech. Okay? He called him Avrech. That's what he called him. He called him Avrech. All right, what does Avrech mean? What does Avrech mean? He called him Avrech. Why did he call him Avrech? What does that mean that he called him Avrech? Why did he call, by the way, that was not the name he gave him. That's not the name he gave him. We're going to see in another passage. We'll take a look at it right now. We'll come back to Avrech in a second. But that's not the name he gave him. It says, Vayikra Paro Shem Yosef. Let's go down to Pasuk Mem Hey, right here. Right? Vayikra Paro Shem Yosef, Sofnas Paneach. He called Yosef by the name Sofnas Paneach. If you look at the Targum, he says it means Megalan Matmerohi. He reveals the hidden secrets. Sofnas Paneach. He reveals that which is hidden. And he gave him Osnas Bas Potifera Kohen On, the Isha, and Osnas becomes Yosef's wife. If we have time, we'll talk about Osnas later. I don't think we're going to get to it today. You'll have to wait for another time. But right now, we see that Yosef, it's called Avrech, and then he gives him a name, Sofnas Paneach. Let's focus on the word Avrech. Oops, I don't want to get that much in there. Just to focus on the word Avrech. What does the word Avrech mean? We need to try to focus on what the word Avrech means. In order to get to the word Avrech, we're going to go back to our Judaica Classic Library. We're going to try to pick up Avrech by, let's see if we can narrow this down, okay, and go to our library right here, and we're going to get Rashi La Torah on Bereshis, and we're going to show what Rashi says about this particular word in the, here it is, okay, here it is, all right, right here, okay, here it is, here's the Rashi, right here, Avrech, here it is, the Rashi on that pasuk, here it is, says Rashi, what does Avrech mean? Okay, I'll enlarge it a little bit for you if I can. Will you enlarge it? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Here's Avrech. Okay. Ketargumo. Avrech. What does it mean? Says Rashi. Ketargumo, like the Targum translates it. Remember we spoke about doing Shnai Mikavech Targum. You do Targum here, and you become a real Talmud Chacham. Ketargumo, Dain Abba Lemalka. Av means Abba. Reich means, we're going to see, young. Kitarguma dein Abba Lamalka. Rach beloshon arami melach. Melech, you are a king, right? And he quotes the Gemara in Bava Basra, Lo Reka v'lo ba Reka, I'm not a king, not the son of a king. That's the way it's interpreted first. According to this particular statement in the Targum, right? Oh no, we're going to lose it all because I went backwards. I forgot I'm not allowed to go backwards on this program because then you lose the program. Okay, right now it's still here, so we'll try to use it as much as we can. It says, look at the circle, Uvedivrei Agada, but in the words of the Agada, in the Sifri, in Devarim, it says, Darash Rebbe Yehuda. Rebbe Yehuda comes and made the following drasha. Avrech. Who's Avrech? Zeh Yosef. That refers to Yosef. Refers to Yosef. Shehu Av b'chokhmah. He is a father in wisdom. He was young in years, but he was a father in wisdom. V'rach pashanim. But he is young in years. Now, so whose opinion is this? Rebbe Yehuda. Rebbe Yehuda said, Avrech ze Yosef, shehu av b'chokhmah v'rach b'shanim. That's Rebbe Yehuda. Amalo ben Durmaskis. Okay? Says to him, and this is Rebbe Yossi ben Durmaskis. Amalo ben Durmaskis. Rebbe Yossi ben Durmaskis says to Rebbe Yehuda, Ad Mosai ata aves olenu esaksuvim. Why are you crookedly interpreting the psukim? Rashi quotes from the Medrash. Ein avrech elo lashon berkayim. The word avrech means berkayim. You know what berkayim are in Hebrew? We say it every day in the davening. Ki lecha tichra kol berech. Every knee will bow to you. Berkayim on knees. So he's saying, what are you talking about? Avrech means berkayim. He called Yosef by the name berkayim. Kneel before him. Shahakol hoyu nichnasin lefana. Shahakol hoyu nichnasin lefana v'yotzin tachas yodo. Because everybody would go to him and they would come out. So in other words, they all kneeled. They all kneeled before him. That's what it means. Avrech means berkayim. They kneeled before him, and that's all it means. Don't make a deal over here. What's the basic machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi ben Damascus? What's the basic machlokas? Let's take a look. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Avrech ze Yosef shehu av v'rach. Do you see? Av v'rach. Av v'rach. So Rabbi Yehuda says, how many words is Avrech? According to Rabbi Yehuda, how many words is it? It's 2 words. Av Reich. According to Rabbi Yossi ben Damascus, no. Avrech is not 2 words, it's 1 word. It's an expression of berkayim. It's an expression of kneeling. That's all. So it's 1 word. There's a difference between 2 words and 1 word. I want you all to get a Chumash Bereshis. You don't have to do it now, but over the next day or 2, get a Chumash Bereshis. Look in the back of every single Parsha in Bereshis. You're going to notice that at the end of every single Parsha, it tells you the number of psukim in the Parsha.
Not Miketz, right?
By Miketz, it not only tells you the number of psukim, it tells you the number of words.
2025.
Mordechai looked it up.
No, I remember.
There's 2,025 words in Miketz. Why do we have to know that? Why do we have to know that? There's no other parsha in the entire Torah that it says the number of words. The only place it says it is in Miketz. Why do we have to know that? The Vilna Gaon makes an unbelievable comment. There's a machlokas here between Rebbe Yehuda, who says Avrech is Yosef, Shehu Av b'Chochma v'Reich b'Shanim. So according to Rebbe Yehuda, Avrech is 2 words. According to Rebbe Yossi ben Damascus, Ein Avrech ela lashon berkayim. The word Avrech means nothing more than kneeling. Wow. That means in a machlokas between Rebbe Yehuda and Rebbe Yossi ben Damascus, there's going to be a different number of words in the Parsha. According to Rebbe Yehuda, there are 2 words there. If those 2 are 2 words, then there's going to be 26. But since Avrech is only 1 word, there's going to be 25. So the Vilna Gaon says, the reason it says the number of words at the end of the Parsha is to teach you that Rabbi Yossi ben Damascus is who we paskin like. That Avrech is 1 word. And since it's 1 word, there are only 2,025 words in the Parsha. So you may say, big deal. So there are 2,025 words in the Parsha. Along comes the Torah Tamima, and the Torah Tamima makes the following comment. Miketz invariably is read towards the end of Hanukkah. Almost always on Hanukkah. Usually towards the end of Hanukkah. But always on Hanukkah.
A few years ago we missed it. Which there's October Miketz.
Yeah, because of
a few years ago we missed
an
it.
unusual leap year. But almost always. I didn't say always. I said almost always. Almost always on Hanukkah. I have to be careful when Mordechai's around because he knows too many things. Okay. Baruch Hashem, Mordechai Yeshikoach. Thank you. So you're right. You missed it because of a leap year. Anyway, on Hanukkah, how many candles do we light, ultimately? We light 8 candles, right? 8 Neros. Neros Hanukkah. Ha-Neros Halolu. Ha-Neros Halolu. What's the gematria of the Ner? What's the gematria of Ner? Nun is 50. Reish is 200. Ner is 250, right? You guys with me? Ner is 250. How many Neros do you have? 8 Neros. Tell me. 8 times 250.
It's
How much?
2,000.
2000.
2,000. Great. The miracle of Hanukkah took place on the
25th.
25th of Kislev.
2025.
2025. Unbelievable. At the end of Parshat Miketz, it said there are 2,025 words because 8 Neros, 2,000, 25, 25th day of Kislev, 2,025 words in Miketz, always, almost always read on Hanukkah. You think there's no Kabbalistic connection here? There's a fantastic connection. Unbelievable. How Chazal have done things in a way that hidden within every single concept and word comes out all.
But how did you get to 2025?
Well, because you have
Words.
Neros. Ner is 250.
250.
Ner is 250. You have 8 times 250.
Ah,
2,000. But Hanukkah took place on the 25th day of Kislev. 20 and 25. 2025.
that's Miketz. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's the only Sedra that has the number of psukim in it. The only one. All right? There's a lot more. There's a lot more going on. And if we had a lot more time, I'd be happy to talk a little bit more about this. But you will go through the Parsha with the Rashi and the Psukim, and you're going to come across an awful lot of things that could relate to Hanukkah. In this short little video that I made for Shabbos, you'll take a look at it. I found an interesting comment by the Menachem Tzion that relates to Hanukkah and Miketz. Unbelievable. If you dig a little bit, you're going to find it. It's there. It's there. Even here, I'll tell you what. Let's take a look right over here. What did he call him? He called him Sofnas Paneach. Let's look at this Rashi, right? One more thing before you go. This is important. Sofnas Paneach, right? Says Rashi, Mefaresh Hatzfonos. He explains that which is Sofun, hidden away. Like on Pesach. Sofun refers to what? The Afikomen, which is hidden away. Mefaresh Hatzfonos says Rashi, okay, he doesn't go any further, but the Targum, as I said to you, Mefarish Hatzvonos, the Targum says, Megalyan mat merohi. Look it up. He reveals the hidden. Reveals the hidden. Hanukkah is one of those things that reveals the hidden. When you look at those Hanukkah lights, you have to reveal that which is hidden within those lights. You have to see what's within the lights of the menorah. It's not just the lights. There's something unreal going on within the lights of the menorah. There are hidden messages, hidden ideas. How many words are there? How many words are there in the paragraph Haneros Halolu? 36. How many total candles do you light in the menorah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. 36. 36.
Oh, you don't count a Shabbos, right? Yeah.
Right. Haneros Halolu. And it's not only that. One of my Chaverim told me today, some of you may know him, Rabbi Michal Barman, we were discussing the Parsha, and he said, why doesn't it say Haneros Ha'elu? Why does it say Haneros Halolu? So Bnei Yissaschar says, because Halolu refers to Hallel. Haneros, these candles over which we sing Hallel. Halolu instead of Ha'elu. Things are hidden within the miracle of Hanukkah. All you have to do is try to bring them out. And when we bring out the beauty of the concepts, maybe that's why we eat cream-filled donuts, to bring out that which is hidden on the inside. What do you think about that one? And I'm not kidding you, because the donuts really, when I was a kid, we only ate latkes. Never heard of donuts in my life. But the donuts do have a connection with Hanukkah because the Chanukas HaMizbeach took place on Hanukkah. And on the Mizbeach, they brought the Karban Mincha.
Oh, it's
Made out of flour and oil. And there's a hidden message within it. Cream donut, raspberry donut, custard donut,
yes.
Rum donut, $25 one donut. I'm sure someone's going to come up with a $25 donut somewhere along the line. Whatever. But that's it. That's it. There's a lot of hidden messages within Hanukkah, and it's up to us to take them, bring them out to the fore, and let it shine bright for all of us. Okay? All right. Any questions or comments at this point? Okay, Rabbi Say. I want to wish everyone a wonderful Shabbos, a good Chodesh.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hanukkah, and of course, it's going to be a triple whammy this Shabbos.
We're all benching. Yeah.
You know,
Rabbi, yes, the koyach, Rabbi.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Wonderful Hanukkah. Have a great Yom Tov. Enjoy the Shabbos. And You can eat kugel or latkes. They're both the same. It's okay.
Okay.
It's not a problem. All I'll tell you is,
There's always room for dessert.
I'll leave you with one thought, and that is, I remember when I was in the yeshiva, and they served latkes on Hanukkah. Those latkes were like the miracle of Hanukkah.
Oh,
One latke burned 8 days.
okay. So, okay.
Have a good show.